Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So, my name is Panji Husnudin, who would like to teach you some strategic management and competitive advantages with concepts and cases. Today, I would like to talk about the water strategy and the strategic management process. Before starting in this project, the presentation, let me introduce myself briefly. As I mentioned above, my name is Panji Husnudin, and I have been working with CPSK, which is Caterpillar Precision Seals Korea, for the last 5 to 6 years, and I have been teaching some marketing, strategic management spheres with Tersu University, that is Termez State University, with the location of south in the south part of Uzbekistan, in Termez city. And I have been teaching some strategies, marketing, and financial management. So today I would like to teach you about the strategies. Before starting this um, class, I would like to ask you what is strategy? And after the learning the objectives of this presentation, you have to know that you have to be able to define strategy, describe the strategic management processes, and define competitive advantage and explain its relationship to economic value creation, describe two different approaches to measuring competitive advantage, explain the difference between emergent and intended strategies, discuss why it's important for you to start strategy and the strategic management process. As we all know, strategy is about setting goals, setting long-term and short-term direction for the organization, and guiding managers in their decision making. So, the purpose of strategy is to achieve success for the organization. As an example, we can get an IKA. IKA, that's the basic strategy, is simple. The strategy helps IKEA to maintain low costs and to appeal to a very wide range of customers, which in turn helps IKEA to stay ahead of competitors. So, as the opening case study, as I mentioned, the IKEA, you can find an online. IKEA is a furniture company which is selling standardized Swedish designed and self-assembly furniture products at low prices. So, uh, and the other example is we can take as Walt Disney Company. As you can see, in 1984, the Walt Disney profit was 248 million USD, which comes from the theme park operation 77% of profits, consumer products 22% of profits, film entertainment 1% of profit. When we heard about the Walt Disney Company, the picture of the Mickey Mouse will be visualized, right? So in 1984, you can see 242 million USD. And what did the company did at that time? They hired Michael Eisner in 1984 and increased admission prices at them parks from 100. They used this strategy actually, and in 1984, the profit was 186 million, but after 5 years, it increased to 787 million USD. So, and another strategy was that if they focused on movie studios, the character development. In 1984, it was 2.42 million USD, but after 10 years, it became 845 million USD. And the third strategy was diversified into television, ABC hotels, retail stores, sport teams, cruise lines, publishing consumer products, licensing, and etc. And as you can see, the market cap in 1984 was 2 billion USD. But after 10 years, in a decade, it became 28 billion USD. You see this strategy, right? So, definition of the strategy. As I mentioned, a strategy affirms theory about how to gain competitive advantages. Eisner's theory may have been people will pay a premium price for extraordinary entertainment. We have the necessary resources to create extraordinary entertainment. So, therefore, let's redeploy our resources in a different way and offer something extraordinary to people. Strategic management process. That's really important and essential part of this presentation, essential part of this strategic management in a whole. So, in any companies, you have to have a mission that brings objectives. After the objectives, you have to know how to make the analysis, right? In order to make analysis, you have to know external analysis and internal analysis. So, why the strategic management process is really essential and important? Because you can get competitive advantage if you use this process, if you are good at this process, then you have a good competitive advantage. After you achieve the competitive advantage, then you have to have, you have to keep the competitive advantage. That's the reason this strategic management process is really, really important and essential for any companies. So, as I mentioned about the external analysis and internal analysis, uh, you guys know that for external analysis, there are so many analysis, right? There are so many kind of analysis techniques, the models, and for internal analysis also. For example, the basic analysis for internal analysis is a SWOT, right? SWOT analysis, and for external analysis, you can say pestle analysis. So the SWOT and pestle analysis will be explained in the next units. So let's start keep going this strategic management process. So strategic choice. In here, you can say you made the analysis and you have some strategic choices. You have to choose one of them. And the next process is strategic implementation. You choose the management process. After that, then you have to implement the strategy. And of course, between the strategic implementation and competitive advantage, you have to monitor this strategic implementation also. If you don't monitor, if you don't control, then you don't have the goal. You don't have a pointed result. That's the reason competitive advantage should be after the monitoring. Once you achieve the competitive advantage, you have to know how to keep the competitive advantage too, and all will be explained in these chapters. Okay, so the next slide is here. As you can see, objective, external analysis, internal analysis, strategic choice, strategic implementation, competitive advantage, mission, and others. That's called mission. So objectives. What's objective? Specific, measurable targets. The things a firm needs to do to achieve its mission should influence other elements in the strategic management process. Examples, you can see Stillcon's mission and objectives. So, external and internal analysis. Systematic examination of the environment. External analysis, interest rates, demographics, social trends, and technology. Whereas internal analysis was human resources, knowledge, manufacturing, abilities, and technologies. So, and the next one is strategic choice. As you can see here, strategic choice comes from external analysis, internal analysis, corporate level, which businesses, and business level, positioning a business. So we can give an example as Stanley Black and Decker for strategic choices. So strategy implementation, what is it? Strategy implementation. How strategies are carried out, who will do what, organizational structure and control, who reports to whom, how does the firm hire, promote, pay, and etc. Strategy implementation. Every strategic choice has a strategic implementation implications. Strategy implementation is just as important as strategy formulation. A strategy is only as good as its implementation. Example, Jen Lee at Jitsport. So, competitive advantage. What is competitive advantage, guys? The ability to create more economic value than competitors. So, you saw this. I already explained this process: mission, objectives, external and internal analysis, strategic choice, strategic implementation, and competitive advantage. All other elements of the strategic management process are aimed at achieving competitive advantage. Competitive advantage, the ability to create more economic value than competitors, right? So there must be something different about firms offering vis-a-vis competitors' offerings. If all firm strategies were the same, no firm would have a competitive advantage. Competitive advantage is a result of doing something better, different than other competitors. There are two types of differences. First, preference for the firm's output. People choose the firm's output over others. People are willing to pay a premium. Example, Nordstrom. The second type was cost advantage vis-a-vis competitors. Lower cost of production and distribution. An example, we can say Walmart, right? So, strategic management process includes external and internal analysis, strategic choice, implementation, and competitive advantage. That identify and exploit differences that may lead to competitive advantage. We can give an example like Apple's iPod and iPad. Here you can see economic models, imperfect competition, and perfect competition. Competitive advantages you can see in the first part of this slide, and in the perfect competition you can see D equals marginal rate and price. See? Okay, so temporary and sustainable. Competitive advantage typically results in high profits. Profits attract competition. Competition limits the duration of competitive advantage in most cases. Therefore, most competitive advantage is temporary, and competitors imitate the advantage or offer something to better. Some competitive advantages are sustainable if competitors are unable to imitate the source of advantage. No one conceives of a better offering. Of course, in time, even sustainable competitive advantage may be lost. Competitive parity, the firm's offerings are average. People do not have a preference for the firm's offering. The firm doesn't have a cost advantage over others. Some things that may lead to competitive parity may still be critical to success. And we can give a Walmart's labor and location policies where people may have an aversion to the firm's offering. The firm may have a cost disadvantage. A firm may have outdated technology equipment. A firm may have a negative reputation, and etc. We can give so many, examples and ideas about it. Measuring competitive advantage, superior economic performance is viewed as evidence of competitive advantage. It's rather easy to see the evidence of competitive advantage. Measuring the source of advantage per se is typically impossible. It is difficult to measure technology too. Measuring the competitive advantage, two classes of measures. First, accounting measures, ROA, ROS, RON, etc., that exceed industry average. Economic measures, earning a return in excess of the cost of capital. Competitive advantage, parity, and disadvantage. Economic returns. Above normal, that's an advantage. Exceeding expectations. Parity, that's normal, meeting expectation. Disadvantage, what is it? Disadvantage is below normal, failing expectations. Competitive advantage and the strategic management process. Emergent versus intended strategy. The strategic management process leads managers to intended strategies. However, conditions often change or new information becomes available. Managers respond and adopt emergent strategies. Examples: Honda motorcycles will be given. So, strategic management process, the summary. Firms could achieve competitive parity and survive. They would face a flat demand curve. Their cost structure would be the industrial average. They would need to adapt their strategy over time just to survive. They would fail if they didn't adapt their strategy. This course is not about mere survival. It's about striving, achieving competitive advantage. The strategic management process helps managers achieve competitive advantage. Competitive advantage depends on the differences, right? As I mentioned above. The strategy is about discovering and exploiting these differences. So here you can see as an example, striving and surviving. That's so clear, right? Applying strategy to your career. A solid understanding of a strategy concepts will help set you apart from other job candidates. You can use the process to identify and exploit difference between you and others. You can use the process to determine if you want to stay with a company or not. So, is the strategy matter? Of course that. Strategy is often the difference between success and failure, between mediocrity and excellence, a great manager and average manager, stumbling through life and moving ahead with purpose. So, thank you guys for today, and we can continue the next classes and see you soon, guys.